This is New York's Country 94.7.
Happy album release day.
Thank you.
This is very exciting. We're going to talk all about the album and play some clips, and then you guys are going to play us some songs. But first, I wanted to take a moment to just kind of bask in the amazingness that was your performance with Halsey at the CMA Awards.
Thank you.
How did you guys feel about that? Because I felt like it was one of the best performances of the night. Like, I loved it.
Thank you. It was fun. I mean, we've never really done a collaboration like that on the CMA stage. So when they approached us about it, we really wanted to make sure the songs meshed well first. Huge fans of hers, but you want it to feel natural and organic. And so when we kind of put together a mashup and it really worked, we were just kind of off to the races. And then Monday, we did an offsite rehearsal with her for a couple of hours and just really kind of locked it in. And then Tuesday
she has
rehearsal.
some great ideas. I mean, just to see how all our different ideas kind of meshed together and how it evolved. You know, at first it was like, okay, this will be fun. We sang our song, she sings hers, and then we started interacting, you know, in between each other's songs, and it just took on kind of a cool little new life.
I feel like there's like a crossroads in there somewhere.
know.
That would be
We'll see.
so cool.
No, she just did one with Kelsey Ballerini.
Oh,
though.
I forgot she did just do
Yeah,
that
and
with Kelsey.
I was asking Kelsey, I was like, so tell me about her, you know, because we'd never met before. She was like, oh my gosh, y'all are going to have so much fun. And she was right. It was a really, really fun experience.
And then we found out she was 25, so I was like, oh, so you were 15 when Need You Now. You know,
Don't
it's
start
like,
doing the math.
Yeah.
She was 14, I think she said.
Yeah.
15.
I feel like I didn't need to know. So your new album, Ocean, out today, and everyone is going to get a copy of that that's here with us. This is your 8th studio album.
Yeah.
If you count the Christmas
7
record.
really,
Yes,
but
counting
yeah.
the Christmas
Yep.
record, of course. But you had a lot of firsts with this album. This was the first record that you put out with your new label, Big Machine. It was also the first time that you worked with producer Dan Huff.
Yes.
So what effect do you guys feel like those firsts had on this album?
I think the biggest thing was just, you know, a new perspective on us. You know, they saw a lot of art and life left in us, and you know that we could really still make a huge impact on the genre. And Dan Huff, you know, he does all those Keith Urban records, some of our favorite records. You know, Rascal Flatts and all these. Currently, the Thomas Rhett record and. We just really having his perspective on our music, and you know, one of the things he said, he was like, "Let's go back to the sound of that first record." He's like, "I loved that first record," and so we really kind of listened to some of that and all those warm tones, and it just came together really great.
I think sometimes having, you know, not to interrupt you, but I mean, the label, I think they gave us a lot of permission to chase the art and really go for songs that spoke to us. I mean, Ocean is a great example.
Yeah.
This record really started with a song Charles wrote called Be Patient With My Love. And just, I don't know, we felt like we could go there. And they were like, we love what y'all do, who you are, let's do that. And so I think we were very vulnerable and honest and authentic in our writing and recording for this record.
It's so nice to have that like creative freedom and
Yeah.
not to have that pressure on you. You guys are going to play a few songs in a little bit, but first we want to play some quick clips of some songs.
Awesome.
So we're going to play you a little bit of What I'm Leaving For. This is one of the songs on the
thank
albums
you.
or on the album that you guys actually didn't write, but I feel like, and I imagine like with your lives and being gone all the time, this is probably a song that you felt like you could have written, right?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, the first time, I remember the first time I listened to it, I was driving in the car, and it was one of those like, okay, I don't need to just totally lose it behind the wheel of a car, and I need to not see through tears. And it was just one of those that just struck a chord so deeply, just so present in where we are in our life right now as parents. And you know, for me, I grew up in Nashville. Both my parents were musicians, traveled. They were both in Reba McEntire's band a lot of my childhood. So I was that kid, and now I'm that mom. So it was just kind of a 1-2 punch, and I just had to like have a good cry about it.
Well, it turned out beautifully. The next song that we're going to listen to is a song that Dave mentioned that you wrote that kind of kickstarted this album. It's called Be Patient With My Love. Charles, you have said that this song is very autobiographical for you. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, I definitely went through some struggles, kind of trying to find my path, my purpose, and you know, a lot of encouragement with Dave and Hillary, and of course my wife Cassie, and kind of really trying to connect a little more with my spirituality and kind of find a good balance between you know, all of this. I don't know. I feel like it was pretty cool. Like this morning we did the Today Show, and Carson Daly said he really really felt this song and could relate to it. And I feel like, especially for a lot of men, you get to this kind of point, and I don't know, you're still stuck as a little bit of this like child. You're always fighting that, you don't want to grow, I guess anybody, but especially I feel like a lot of guys that I know, it's like they're fighting these two pulls, of who they used to be and who they need to become. And it's kind of a journey. It's like that midlife crisis song.
Well, it's a wonderful midlife crisis song.
Instead of buying a Ferrari, I just went ahead and put it in a music.
I'm sure that your wife is happy that that's what you did instead. So the next clip that we're going to play is the title track of the album, Ocean. Everyone I've talked to has just talked about how this is such a beautiful song. And Hillary, your vocals are incredible. It's an emotional song to listen to. Was it emotional for you to record?
Yes. There were 2 songs on this record that I had to walk out and just have a good cry, collect myself, and then come back into the singing booth, and this was one of them. The other one was What I'm Leaving For, actually. It stirs up a lot in me, and I think I'm a very heart-led person. I hurt when you hurt. Like, that's just very much who I am. But also just putting my own story into it, other people in my life. We've gotten a lot of feedback from people, comments on YouTube, on social media, just how this song is really impacting them, and people dealing with depression, people dealing with substance abuse. I think it was written out of an emotionally unavailable partner. That's kind of what the song's about, but you can really put a lot of different life seasons, struggles into it. And it's just one that it just felt like a really important lyric, and just it's so cinematic, the way that the chord structure and the way that it was written. It was one of those that going into this recording process, I was like, man, I hope I can do it justice, because it was that special, and we're just very grateful that we get to be the voices.
It's such a great song, and I also like watching the music video. It was like, it does feel very cinematic, and with the waves and the ocean, you're like, oh my gosh. It turned out very beautiful. I also want to talk to you guys about the current single that we're playing right now on 94.7. Everyone in here, I'm sure, loves it. What If I Never Get Over You? The first time you guys heard this, was this like immediately it's going on the album?
It's funny. So we probably wrote 7 of the 13 songs, and we wrote a ton for this record, but we really are at that spot where the best song needs to win. And we felt like once we had a concept for this record, like Be Patient with My Love and Let It Be Love, it was leading us down this more honest, vulnerable path that we started. It was just like so crazy. All these great songs started flooding in, like Ocean and What I'm Leaving For. And they found us at the perfect time and fit this record so well that we feel so blessed that these songs just kind of like came in and said what we wanted to say more than we could. And so What If I Never Get Over You came in, and even though that we're not right there at that moment, we have been. We've had someone like that in our life. And the sound of it, I kept looking over at Dave and Hillary, I was like, this almost feels like the continuation of Need You Now. Like Need You Now is like, there's still a little hope. I'm still calling her up. She might, And then like What I'm Leaving For is like, all right, we're done. And this chapter is closed. Am I ever going to find anyone that makes me feel this way?
Asking those big questions.
What's so interesting is, so the song was co-written by Ryan Hurd, who is married to Maren Morris, and he wrote it from a perspective like if he had lost her, which I thought was really interesting. And it was funny the other night on the red carpet at the CMAs, somebody asked him, he's like, I'm not so sure I should have given that one up. I don't think Lady A's given it back.
Oh, well, he co-wrote You Look Good too. So we love Ryan
Got some good
Hurd.
history with it.
And it wasn't, What If I Never Get Over You wasn't originally a duet, and Charles had the idea, like I think it would add a lot of depth and perspective to and drama, truly, to have both of those perspectives in making it a duet. So that was a great call.
Well, it turned out wonderfully. We love it, and we would
Thank
love to hear
you.
you guys play it. If you don't mind, I know you're going to play a couple songs. Please make some noise for Lady Antebellum.
This is New York's Country 94.7.